Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. NATO warships gather in Baltic Sea. So I'm going to go ahead and read some of this article here and continue from there. It says a group of NATO warships belonging to the Standing NATO Maritime Group 1, SNMG1, I guess that's what that's the acronym for it. Standing NATO Maritime Group 1 and Standing NATO Mine Countermeasures Group 1 have started arriving in the Baltic Sea to take part in joint exercises, with some having already docked in a port in Tallinn, Estonia, according to NATO press release published on Thursday. The Standing NATO Maritime Group consists of flagships from the Netherlands, Denmark, which Netherlands is actually a part of the European Union, and I believe Denmark is also a part of the European Union. It says Germany and the United Kingdom, while the Standing NATO Maritime Countermeasures Group is composed of Norwegian, Belgian, German, Estonian, British, and Dutch mine layers and mine sweep. The bloc announced the move on Monday, saying NATO regularly deploys maritime forces in the Baltic Sea in order to maintain a credible and capable defensive capability in accordance with treaty obligations. These are two of a total of 4 task groups comprising ships from various allied countries that are continuously available to NATO to perform different tasks ranging from participation in exercises to operational missions. 4 ships from the Standing NATO Maritime Group arrived at the port of Tallinn on Tuesday, where they joined the Canadian frigate HMCS Halifax. I am very pleased to welcome the Standing NATO Maritime Group teams in Tallinn. Commodore Juri Saska, commander of the Estonian Navy, said. The call is especially important in the current security situation in which our neighbor to the east has taken up arms against the freedom and independence of the people of Ukraine. Saska added that a strong maritime presence on NATO's eastern border showcased the speed, flexibility, and determination of the alliance to defend member states on land, by air, and at sea. The group is set to conduct routine operations and joint exercises with the Estonian Navy next week, which are intended to improve interoperability among NATO forces and increase shared knowledge of maritime tactics, while promoting professionalism among sailors, cultural understanding, and trust, according to the NATO press release. So, now with that in mind, there's a scripture I'd like to get. I believe it is Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Now, the Gentiles in Joel 3, verse 9 is talking about the Arabs, the Africans, the Chinese and Japanese people, the Hawaiians, the the so-called white Americans, the so-called white Russians, the so-called white Europeans, okay, those fake Jewish people in the land of Israel, okay. The Gentiles is also talking about the East Indians, okay. These are your Gentiles of Joel 3 verse 9, as well as the heathen that the scriptures is speaking about in in the 12th verse. So proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. And what is the proclamation? Prepare war. Is that not what NATO's doing? They're gearing up for war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshare. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right. And when you beat a plowshare, when you beat a plowshare or a pruning hook into spears, right? What are you doing? You're upgrading your weapon, right? A sword is better than a plowshare, and a spear is better than a pruning hook. And I'm talking about when it comes to weapons of war. So when it comes to weapons of war, a sword and a spear is always better than a plowshare or a pruning hook. And when you look at these countries, right, at one point, Russia was known as what? The country with missiles, right? But but if you look at Russia now, they have nuclear capability, right? So what is this scripture talking about? These countries upgrading their arsenal, their artillery. Okay? And that's exactly what these countries are doing. They're upgrading their artillery. They're upgrading their arsenal. You know, Russia is now no longer known as the country with missiles. Now they have intercontinental ballistic missiles, okay? North Korea. At one point, all they had was what? Chemical warfare, grenades. Now North Korea has nuclear capability. Iran has nuclear capability. You see? So as the years passed on, these countries have upgraded their arsenal. So let the weak say I am strong. Because these countries which were once regarded weak are now strong. And what makes these countries strong? These nuclear missiles that they have. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. Gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Because World War III is going to take place over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Now, when you look up Jehoshaphat, it goes back to the Hebrew word Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's the judge. And why is it called that? Because the Lord is going to be the one to judge these heathens over there in the Middle East. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. With that, I'm going to say shalom. Is on to the next one.